Welcome back to another edition of The Bolt. This one's a special one. I'm joined by John Searles, our AI innovation lead here at Ammunition, responsible for helping, I want to say, steward the agency's adoption and integration of all things AI. Welcome, John.
Thank you.
I think there's this knee-jerk reaction. I think we've all had it at some point in time. You can see the doomsday headlines. We all have LinkedIn. We see what people say, like AI is replacing us. It's removing entry-level jobs. Sam Altman loves to say that it's coming for advertising. Talk a little bit about just building that comfort level with embracing the tools.
My view of this has always been, kind of human plus.
Yep.
We have team members who wouldn't touch AI when I first got here that I've had meetings with recently who are building like skills for ChatGPT and
that's awesome.
Asking me about automation and all these other things, and it's really rewarding.
Yeah. Because I think we've all fallen into this trap. I know I did when it first came out. Like, it felt like the promise of AI was this objectively true, empirically right knowledge source. Mm-hmm. And I think in execution, anybody who spent a lot of time using it, you can very quickly understand that it's way more algorithmic in the way that we think about. We all understand Instagram is feeding you content based on what you engage with. I think what we don't quite appreciate enough is the similar ways that AI looks for patterns and looks to give you positive reinforcement to your opinion.
I miss Instagram where my feed had no algorithm. I just want
it's just whatever the latest post was.
Yeah,
there
whatever the latest post was,
Yep.
at the right time,
Yep.
When you talk about AI not having taste, not having experience, when you have trained yourself in a craft, and you've been challenged and you've had, heartbreak and, you've learned lessons about this thing, what that kind of turns into is judgment. It's judgment calls.
Yep.
And AI is not for judgment.
What we don't quite appreciate enough is the similar ways that AI looks for patterns and looks to give you positive reinforcement to your opinion, right? Like, I think if you and I right now, grab laptops, we could both use, I don't want to call out any LLM, but we could use our LLM of choice, both use the same one, and get it to tell us the opposite points of view. You take one side of the issue, I take the other side. It would tell me, Jeremy, you're so right. By the way, you're handsome and good looking and very funny. And this is true. And it would tell you the same thing about the opposite point of view. John, you're just so smart. You're just so magnanimous. You have such a way with words. And by the way, Jeremy's an idiot. Like, it would do that, right? And I think that's a trap, because I think not only do we continue, to gravitate towards adoption. I don't say we as in Ammunition specifically. I think societally, culturally, we're embracing AI more and more, and we're not aware enough the rabbit holes that can pull us down the same way social media does, right?
Absolutely. At the end of the day, these are companies.
Yeah, right.
They have, they
have incentives.
They have incentives.
Yeah.
They want to be profitable.
Yep.
And the way they do that is by you using their tool as much as you possibly can.
Yep.
So why wouldn't they gaslight you?
That's right.
And then the funny thing is, we've talked about this, AI is like automated machine learning, rebranded,
Yes.
Yeah. Someone asked me about prompting and how to get the response that she was expecting, and I told her, you really have to find a way to put AI in a box to get it to do what you actually want it to do.
Yep.
There's grounding, there's guardrails, there's examples that you need to give it. A prompt should be pretty long.
Yeah.
If you have an expectation, you really need to think through your problem.
Yep.
Or whatever, for whatever output you're trying to get, you really have to reverse engineer on a very granular level to understand how the AI is thinking about this problem so that it doesn't sneak outside of what you want and start hallucinating.
Yep. So the interesting thing is, I think we all kind of go to AI to say, I'm not good at this. Let me get AI to make me look smart on this thing. And I would argue, actually, you need to get smart on the thing and then use AI to make you even better at it.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
100%. No, I mean, and there's studies have been done, they've tested students and how they write essays and say, okay, write your essay and then use AI in one category, and then use AI, and then write your essay in another category, and then just to have a third space there, it's use Google search and then write your AI.
Yep.
And the interesting thing that was found out is that when you do the work first and then use AI, the essay was better. Mm-hmm. You retain the information, and you truly know that information. Like,
yep.
Push yourself a little bit, do the work. But as you do this over and over and over again, you know where you're weak at. You know your weak points. You can still do the thing that you do. But this is enrichment.
Yep.
It's really meant as a tool for you to, do the best that you can.
Yep.
With what you're working with, and it gets faster as you do it more.
Yeah. Let's talk about an example of something you think we're doing very interesting internally with AI. While you're thinking about that, I think we've seen some interesting things on the production side. We've seen some interesting things relative to transcriptions and meeting notations, those kinds of things. I see you getting geared up. You look excited.
Yeah, I just thought of something that
I saw it. The light bulb went off.
Yeah, the light bulb
yeah.
clicked.
Yeah.
So I talked to you about someone that I've been working with on building skills. They were saying, okay, well, I wrote this great skill, and so I could give this skill to another team member, and now they could do the thing that they might have come to me and asked for. Does that replace me, and does that replace what I do? Am I like writing my own ticket, out of town?
Yeah, do I need to save this file and share it or delete it right now?
Right. And I said, you know what? The way that AI is moving, I don't think so. Like, I think there's a really interesting thing here where, like, you write this thing, but now you're the master of this skill. And as the model changes, as you learn more, you're doing maintenance on this thing. And so if you were to write 5 skills as deliverables for a client, now quarterly, you're updating these things because the AI keeps changing.
Yeah.
The way that it works keeps changing. Tools keep coming out. Connectors keep coming out. These different thinking models keep coming out, and at some point you'll have to manage tokens, and that means changing the way that skill works.
Yep.
And so now you've skilled up.
Yeah.
And you have this opportunity to create this deliverable that clients don't even know they need yet.
Yep.
And so, it's an interesting thought of like, there was a typewriter, and then we got Microsoft Word, and now we've got AI. But there's still this knowledge base. There's still opinion. There's still judgment. And those people that recognize those things made a shift.
That's right.
But
this isn't new.
Right. This isn't new.
I think, I'm old enough to remember when agencies had to figure out what this internet thing was, right? For me, I think I've just lived through enough of those cycles where this just feels like another one of them. Mm-hmm. And so, yes, if you maybe are younger in your career and it feels like, what is this going to mean? This one does feel a little bit bigger. I'll give it that, right? Like, sure. It does feel bigger. It does feel like the implications could be wider. But I think what is fundamentally true is things are going to change. Roles will change. Mm-hmm. That does not mean you're going away necessarily, right? It's like the silly example of like when the light bulb was invented, like certainly the candlestick maker industry, suffered a little bit, but like you retrain and you learn new skills. And so I think that's the way that I think about it, right? Like there might be parts of your job you do less, sure. There might be parts of your job that don't take as much time, sure. Mm-hmm. But like start focusing on where's the higher value stuff. Where can you start spending more time on the tasks that underscore things we've already said are the judgment parts of the job, are the decision-making parts of the job, are the discernment parts of the job, are the taste-related parts of the job that AI just can't do.
Yeah.
Right. But I think this notion that it's coming for us and we're going to be obsolete, like maybe that happens one day, but you and I were joking about this, I think a couple months ago. It's not today. No. It doesn't. I think the more you spend time with the tools, I think if you're somebody who's not spent a lot of time with the tools, I'd put it this way, you might jump to those conclusions.
For sure.
But I think the interesting thing is the more you use the tools, yes, it does do certain parts of your job, full stop. I don't want to sound naive to that. Like, we're obviously not. But I think you and I have talked a lot about the more we use them, the more it's like, this future is a little far away still, you know, like it's cool and it's doing really cool stuff and we're able to do really interesting things. But it's not here yet.
No.
Okay. What's something you're really excited about as you think about the future relative to AI?
I've seen a lot of people do these things on Instagram where it's like, you know, day 25 of helping a small business using AI.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those are the things that excite me, because those are where the real, you know, problems exist in small businesses, and that's really a promising space, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great that those of us who are knowledgeable aren't gatekeeping.
I haven't prepped you for this, and I don't know if you're ready for it, but we're putting you on the spot, so it's going to be a pure hot take.
Love it.
What's your hot take? AI. Hot take. John Searles, go.
My AI hot take is that we are making a big mistake focusing on these massive LLMs instead of the architecture of local. Local LLMs are getting smarter because we're getting smarter about how to build them.
Yep.
But a local LLM is going to be able to fit into a camera. Like, you know, a light being out on Peachtree. If it's got a local LLM in there, that local LLM could potentially figure out what's wrong and either fix it on a software side or tell an engineer exactly what's wrong.
Yep.
So they can order, or no, it can go on and order the parts.
There you go.
You know, and have them deliver and say, hey, you need to come and fix this, you know, at this date. I've seen your calendar, blah, 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 blah.
Right. You're available next Tuesday.
Right, you're available next
part
Tuesday.
will be here Monday, yeah.
I don't think that our local government should be using an open AI. And that's what we should be focusing on.
Well, John, this has been good. Thank you so much for
Absolutely.
being part of this conversation. Let's do it again. All right, man. Thank you.